So this week I was asked a question which often comes up, which is, can we really change how we show up in the world? Can we actually do anything about the parts of ourselves that we know aren't helpful, but that seem really stuck? Those of you who know me won't be surprised to hear that I have a resounding yes to the possibility of change from my own personal journey over the last decades. But I wanted to tell you about one change measure that I saw in myself last week. It's related to a fingerprint need, and if you've read the book, you will know about fingerprint needs. They're the ones that we have a history with, usually from childhood, and they're the ones that tend to cause us particular problems in the present until we know what to do with them. They're also the ones that are the most exciting, I think, to shift and see a difference with, because they're the ones that tend to really affect our relationships and our own happiness in the world. So one of my fingerprint needs is knowing that I matter. And when I'm in a situation where I feel like I don't matter, it reminds some part of my brain of growing up believing that what I wanted in the world didn't matter. Nothing at all to do, I'll underline again, with my parents' best intentions. But in that situation, because I have a history of that need not being met, then I will tend to be transported, when something happens in my present, back to my childhood feelings. And I'll tend also to overreact in whatever situation I'm in. So last weekend I was away on a training weekend, a weekend where trainers gather together, and some of us had made offers of workshops in advance. I'd made an offer of a Q&A on the book. And when I got there, I saw that 10 of the 11 topics that had been mooted on the advanced list were up on the schedule on the wall, but my offer of the Q&A was missing. So that is a tiny example of where my need to matter can be activated. Here, as soon as I noticed the pang in my chest, I recognised the sense of not feeling important enough to be included. But I also noticed how very tiny the pang was compared with how it might have been in days gone by. In those days gone by, I would either have tended to go into silent rebellion, so a kind of, well, I'm not going to engage with this because I haven't been included. I kind of take myself outside the belonging to the group. Or I would have told myself I was overreacting and I just needed to get on with the task in hand. I would have attempted to squash my feelings. Actually, what I did, all in the space of a split second really, was to notice the need to matter and just give it a little wave of recognition and acceptance. So, hello, I know who you are. And then go and talk to the organiser from a composed and adult place rather than the reactive, triggered, childish one. So I just said, I'm just noticing the session that I offered doesn't seem to be appearing on the schedule. That, of course, elicited an immediate apology that they'd missed it, and it was added on. But I can honestly say that these days I get triggered far less, and when I am, it's far less deep, heavy, emotional. When we work on our fingerprint needs and the way they trigger us, and the feelings often in fingerprint needs are anger or shame. When we work on them, we become freer from the thoughts that catch us in comparison or self-judgment or judgment of others that basically take us out of the enjoyment of the present moment of our lives. So I hope that's helpful. In our household, we are happily at the start of Advent, hence the celebratory hair tinsel, which you will now be stuck with until 12th night, I'm guessing, but wishing all of you the best possible start to December.